Butterflies and Bubbles. By A.P. Murphy. According to chaos theory, the beat of a butterfly's wings in the rainforests of Brazil may lead to a hurricane in the Caribbean. Such is the profound amplifications that can happen over time, where little variations in complex systems may lead to massive outcomes. Other than the human brain, there is nothing more complicated in the cosmos, at least that we know, than today's interconnected humanity, the culmination of countless generations reaching all the way back to the dawn of civilization. Consequently, the further we go back in time, the smaller the action required to set off a ripple that amplifies into a momentous wave coursing through history, to ultimately swamp modernity. It therefore follows that civilization is more likely shaped by random perturbations, wrought in its infancy, even by the wings of a butterfly, than by any emanation from a modern disturbance to its equilibrium. Our modern mind reflects the random fluctuations of our cultural antecedents. Our outlook today is but the outworking of fractal dreams of our ancestors. Imagine if we swapped L. Ron Hubbard and Jesus at birth, we would live in a world today, populated with 1 billion strong Scientologists, and just a small congregation of Christians. Indeed, it is the nonlinear impact of improbable ideas from deep time, rather than any physical action in the play of history, that have amplified to a crescendo in today's collective consciousness. Just as Facebook reaped the benefits bestowed on the fortunate early mover at the outset of the social media era of this internet age, so too, Christianity successfully rode early society transforming waves generated by the Axial Age. The Axial Age was a pivotal moment in world history 3,000 years ago, when people across the Eurasian landmass embraced similar spiritual philosophic perspectives in their exploration of reality. Today's religions are not so much the culmination of this exploration, but rather they are the surviving rusted-on detritus from this epoch of metaphysical giants. Why do some ideas, no matter how bizarre, survive and flourish, while others fall away? Successful ideas exhibit many of the characteristics of simple life forms, such as their ease of transmission, and their resilience to external attack. Hence, Richard Dawkins coined the term meme, to describe such self-replicating cohesive collections of ideas. Much like sticky bubbles, these memes adhere to us and define our popular culture. And just like compound interest earned on money held in a bank, deep time allows successful memes to increase their popular penetration, by inheriting the minds of each subsequent generation's offspring. The most successful memes are those that infect the very lifeblood of society, becoming the invisible foundations upon which we walk through our lives. Memes are potentially dangerous as they are more than simply information. Like pieces of software code that we mentally ingest, they interact with other bits of code running around in our brain. Lone wolf terrorists are an extreme example of a mimetic hack, whereby the would-be terrorist's brain is hijacked by a meme. Once this virus takes hold, the attacker is repurposed and weaponized with often fatal consequences. Simply put, brainwashing is a successful mimetic hack. Societies are collections of random memes, that once conferred some temporary advantage, some of which have long since outlived their usefulness, surviving by blinding their host to their downsides. Nor is there any let-up, as new memes continually spring up, and stick to our minds. Do you remember that it was not so long ago, rather than using their connected devices to explore the world, the young traveled to distant lands, predominantly by way of their imagination? Humans possess an uncanny ability to unconsciously meld themselves into each new mimetic unreality, as our lives fly by in our collective meme dreams. What memes are we swimming around in, that we do not see? To see the meme, requires breaking free of it, even temporarily, to look at it from the outside. Is not the path to enlightenment trodden by breaking free, again and again, of the meme that we are the mask that we wear? Enjoying the fruits of human ingenuity is not necessarily harmful. But as Putin noted, oh so long ago, personal suffering comes from our false separation from reality. Is it possible to enjoy the fruits, without swallowing the meme dream pill? From time to time, as in the age of enlightenment, society too, breaks free from the bonds of old memes. As we do today with outdated prejudices. However, of all the archaic memes through which our daily lives still walk, one small idea grew beyond the grasp of our imagination, and is now so ginormous, that it swallowed us whole. It was such a cunning artifice, that all traces of this ancient artifact have long since merged into the landscape. If, as the mathematician turned metaphysicist, Alfred North Whitehead noted, the European philosophical tradition consists of a series of footnotes to Plato, it is even more certain that all Western civilization scurries around in the footfalls of Plato's successor, Aristotle. The entirety of our civilization is trapped in Aristotle's thought bubble. Raphael, the high Renaissance artist, captured this singular moment in our history, in his famous fresco of the School of Athens. Plato points up to a higher reality that sits behind our everyday experience, whereas Aristotle's hands gesture downwards to indicate that reality is only what we experience through our senses. Modern Christianity, if that is not an oxymoronic phrase, is mainly the result of the Aristotelian theological reasoning of Thomas Aquinas. Similarly, our scientific philosophy that only what is measurable is real, is but the myopic vision obtained via the narrow aperture of Aristotle's axial meme. And of course, our general philosophy is pure Cartesian, we are isolated islands of mind stuff living in our own fantasy. Aquinas, Descartes, and Einstein and the entire school of thought, that formed Western civilization, are the ideological offspring of Aristotle. In a universe completely accessible to sense and rationality, Aristotle's idea holds eternal application. However, we live in a universe where the truth always sits beyond the observable horizon. We inhabit a realm rooted in randomness. We belong to a cosmos that cognition can't quite touch. Look with your unmediated inner eye, and you will see that Aristotle's peripatetic ideal is a ghostly half-life, where reality is only indirectly realized via one's sensory proxy or mental avatar. In this reality, the only universal truth is that there are no universal truths. All ideas have a half-life and consequently a shelf life. The death of most memes passes unnoticed and unremarked. Unfortunately, this meme is so central to our civilization, we decay in lockstep as it drags us to our mutually assured oblivion. The urgency to wake from this nightmare, before it is too late, is becoming increasingly apparent. To wake from the dream world we currently inhabit, we need to retrace our steps back through time, to the moments prior to this butterfly event, that has so shaped our world. There are hints to an earlier way of thinking in Plato's theory that our visible reality is but a reflection of a deeper and purer realm, and more hints in his hidden oral teaching on the interplay of unity and indeterminacy. And Plato's cave allegory too, shines a light on this deeper reality missed by today's logical thinkers. Unfortunately, modern philosophers, who are caricatures of the allegory's cave inhabitants, misinterpretatively shadow dance around its true meaning. Like blind men in Buddha's elephant parable, not awakened, even momentarily, they insist reality is defined by their limitations. But tasting transcendence, this sensuous light of consciousness, instantly illuminates the parable and allegory. If philosophers struggle deciphering Plato's allegory, they are wrapped in blinding confusion when examining the earlier works of pre-Socratic metaphysicists such as Parmenides. Far easier to share a joke with a gorilla, than for a philosopher to parse the subtleties of Parmenidean poetry. Standing apart from this rabble of rationality, Peter Kingsley is a rare breed of scholar who has approached this pre-Socratic period with open eyes, to see Parmenides, and his metaphysical contemporary Empedocles, as part of a Mediterranean fusion of shamanism and rationality. Parmenides, our father of metaphysics, viewed the logical faculties as subservient to the greater mind, in its exploration of reality, while the equally impressive Empedocles defined the first fundamental elements, as a metaphysical fugue of the inner and outer worlds. Due to the asymmetrical effect of butterflies, if we reset the starting dials of our civilization to match pre-Socratic philosophic conditions, and instantiated an alternate Western reality that fluttered forward to present day, it is highly improbable that we would reproduce a pale imitation of other axial-inspired civilizations. Indeed, rewinding Western civilization back to these pre-Socratic headwaters, and then, with this more balanced perspective on reality, rolling time forward once again, would this alternate world appear vaguely familiar, or would it strike us as completely alien? Exorcising this Aristotelian meme is no simple excision. This once alien idea has established parasitic codependency with its tendrils tightly wrapped around our brains. As the psychiatrist Dr. Ian McGilchrist, author of The Master and His Emissary, asserts, we live in a civilization where the left brain or emissary has usurped the rightful master. I suggest this meme is the coup d'etat culprit, who hacked into our firmware and rewired our wetware. Indeed, spiritual practice denuded of its religious trappings, provides a means of unwinding this head hack job. Egoic mimetic dissolution in the singular, while a priceless personal treasure, may appear selfish if the plurality of society remains fogbound. In apparent counterfactual juxtaposition, as science learns more about matter, society knows ever less of that which matters. Our left brain-dominated society walks circles in the desert, lost in the thrall of its own devices. In nihilistic response to this apparently chaotic and uncaring cosmos, we retreat further and further into our separate bubble-encased fantasies. Yet despite our self-defeating stratagems, we are provisioned with the requisite attributes for a successful journey. But success is not measured by how much of this universe we explore, nor is it measured by our interstellar engineering and terraforming skills. And although our learning capabilities are to be admired, our left brain grasp of the truth will always remain just over the horizon. Nevertheless, solving the metaphysical equation, to realize our universal truth is humanity's inescapable quest. By relaxing our mental grip, it is possible to break through the surface illusion, to see a cosmos alive with meaning that is intimately knowable. With apologies to the author of Desiderata, Max Ehrmann, we are children of the universe. The entirety of our being is a universal expression, no different to the trees, and the stars. Not only have we a right to be here, but right now, whether we know it or not, we are on a quest together, to soar beyond butterflies and bubbles, to realize the impossible answer to our dreams.